It's Thursday. Let's see what's going on behind us here. All right. So we're starting off in the city of Orange. Just making a left off of Walnut Avenue onto Wayfield. Nice sunny day. It's about 10:15. Had some important business to take care of this morning. And I have a meeting at 11. So I don't know if I'll make it on time. But I have my supervisor. I just forwarded the meeting to my supervisor, so hopefully he can oh shoot, how am I gonna get in there? I got this whole thing blocked off. Hey, can I jump in right here real quick? Just to behind this restaurant?
Yeah, we're not cutting right now.
Okay, bro, I'll be quick, man.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Stop at a store, get a quick energy drink. We're off. I guess I should just buy a bunch of these and then I don't have to keep stopping, but it's kind of just part of my routine. I like talking to these guys. And as always, there we are right there in our fancy. I'm working on riding safer. So this is my newest addition, this reflective gear here. I don't like riding without long sleeves. That's one thing I'm doing right now that I kind of regret for two reasons. I don't want to get all scraped up if I wreck, and then plus I think it looks weird when you guys got to look at my arms, you know, but whatever. All right, we'll be right back. Are we recording? I didn't hear the beep. Oh yeah, we're recording. So we're doing, the first part of the ride was 4K 30 frames. I just switched it over to 2K. I think even 1080p looks good. If you're not doing anything in editing, like if you're not doing any slow motion shots or you're not zooming in or anything like that. We'll take a look. A lot of times, like, I think 4K is just kind of, I don't know. It definitely looks nice, but I think it's also kind of overly emphasized. Like as you know, maybe more. I don't know. Like when you're trying to, a lot of times, like if I got a bunch of kids on gaming at my house and I'm processing a video and then I'm trying to watch a YouTube video in 4K, a lot of times it doesn't work right, you know? It won't load. It's just too much for our Wi-Fi. So I wonder, like, is it really worth it? A lot of times I'll just switch. That's kind of what made me think about this, is if I'm watching a video and it's not loading properly, then I'll just put it to a 4K video. I'll put it down to 2K, and that's it. All right, so we're on Chapman Avenue. I mean, look at this day. I mean, come on. This is definitely a 4K day, but here we are. 2K. I could do 2K 60 frames if I wanted to. We're doing throttle only right now and pedal assist 5. Cruising at 25 miles an hour. Lots of traffic. A group of cars behind me that are afraid to pass me, so we'll give them a little space. So nice, man. We went through a long week of overcast days, so this sunny day is a relief. I love overcast days, but after doing it for a week straight with no rain, kind of makes me mental. All right, so we're at the circle here. If I was smart, I would just bypass this, but we'll go ahead and cruise with the traffic here. None of us are very good at navigating this traffic circle. I feel like they should just close downtown again. They built a parking structure over here several years ago. It was before COVID, I think. But I feel like, during COVID, when they blocked off all of downtown Orange, and they left it that way for quite some time, that was just ideal. It was so nice coming down here and just walking around in the streets, and not too sure why they opened it back up. I guess there's no good passage going east and west. You have to go, I don't know, it's not that hard to go around though. Wow. Oh, police motorcycle. Let's pedal. There's a cop in the parking lot next to the post office. So when I was watching the review of the Lectric XP3.0, the way they have their bikes set up now, so with the they have it set up so it can be class 3 for California. So what they do, this is a great workaround. I love it. So we're under the impression that we have to not have a thumb throttle at all in California if you're going to ride in class 3. But what Lectric did is they have a setting on it, on that bike, that's specific to California, and all it does is it locks out your throttle. So if something happens and police are actually paying attention to that law in that kind of detail, you can just lock out your throttle and you'll be fine. So I think that's really cool. Really obvious workaround. I was under the assumption that you would have to completely remove your throttle, It doesn't make any sense, right? It's not a logic. It's just not a. It doesn't make any sense at all. And the whole 750 watts thing doesn't make sense to me either. I'm gonna use this guy for our shield. All right, so we're on Main Street. Already 14 minutes into the ride. Pretty straightforward ride today. I couldn't resist the gravitational pull of Main Street. Looks like somebody has all their belongings scattered out here on the sidewalk. We got some hairspray, some shampoo, some lotion, some more shampoo, some sprays. This guy's got the button for us. Yeah, I need to get a thin long sleeve shirt. I need to get a thin long sleeve shirt for the summer. Breathable. Try to accommodate these drivers the best way I can. Almost get smacked right there. Ow. Sure that guy's not turning. Danger. Danger's everywhere. Just takes one person on their text messaging on their phone. Let's move over for this guy. Just to drift a little bit. That happened to me yesterday. A car started drifting. I was over here. Car started just blindly drifting me closer and closer into the gutter and up against the curb. I was like ringing my bell like crazy. Not like crazy, but I was ringing my bell. She looked over at me. An older lady. I haven't eaten today. Not sure what's going on here. Going over the 5 freeway. Guess we're in Santa Ana now. I don't know where Santa Ana starts. Like, well, it starts before the Main Place Mall, because Main Place Mall is Santa Ana. Oh, watch out for this Camaro. Does he see me? Yeah, I see. Oh, watch out for the survey crew. Here we go. Santana. Mid-morning traffic. You're okay, lady. That's all right. So we'll just try to keep up with traffic. When I get my wired cruiser, this is going to be easy. Whoa. I really I love this bike, you know, and I love my Lectric. And if I had to ride this type of bike, you know, the budget bikes for the rest of my life, I would be okay with that. However, I often daydream about what it would be like riding something like the wired cruiser, where I know I can go 40 miles an hour and have such great suspension and power available. How much safer it'll be, and how, you know, just floating down these roads, it would just be amazing. I mean, there's so many thousands and thousands of little micro impacts on every ride that the suspension's just not, you know, it doesn't really, I mean, it helps, but so the Lectric was much rougher of a ride than this bike. So I'm trying to go back in my mind and do a comparison of the Lectric versus this Windhorse. Somebody had asked me about it, so I'll try to distribute some of that comparison throughout some videos. So the Lectric XP3.0, that bike is a 500 watt motor. I can't remember how much torque it has. You know, the typical 7-speed bike. So the difference is, so between that bike and this bike, so let's start with the drive, we'll call it the drivetrain. So let's do the motors, right? So the Lectric has a 500 watt motor versus the Windhorse, which has a 750 watt motor. However, the way that Lectric programs their bikes, and I don't know the size of the controller they use, it doesn't feel really, the takeoff is the same. Like when I take off, I accelerate just as fast on that 500 watt Lectric. The difference is when you're in mid speed, like let's say you're going 15 miles an hour and you're just, this is throttle only. On the Lectric, if I'm going 15 and I want to get up to 20, if I'm not pedaling, it's going to take a lot longer for me to get from 15 to 20. But the initial start feels the same. The top speed, the 500 watt versus the 750 watt is the same. If anything, the Lectric's a little bit faster than this bike, especially if you're pedaling. So now let's put in let's add the pedal assist levels. So the pedal assist levels on the Lectric, from 1 to 5, it's very incremental, as it should be. So each time, you know, from pedal assist 1 to pedal assist 2 to pedal assist 3 to 4 to 5, your speeds gradually increase. So it makes it nice, you know, like I've talked about before, like I like riding at 20 miles an hour. Well, this bike, this Windhorse, if I want to ride at 20 miles an hour, I've got to put it in pedal assist 5. And I can't, if I'm pedaling, I can't hold it at 20 miles an hour. The bike's going to take off and we're going to be going 28 miles an hour. But with electric, in pedal assist 4, I'm able to maintain 20 miles an hour. Or pedal assist 3, I'm able to maintain 20 miles an hour, whether I'm pedaling or using the throttle only. So that's a huge benefit. I think the derailleur that they use is the same on the Lectric as this one. I think it's the same model and everything. So I noticed like that the Lectric one was dialed in a lot better than this one. It was smoother shifting out of the box than this one. I don't think they spent really any time setting this bike up. I felt like the Lectric, like out of the box, was set up pretty good. So, but I didn't, you know, I haven't spent any time, you know, setting up this bike either. I kind of just deal with it, you know, and I don't shift as much on this bike as I did the Lectric. Riding the Lectric is much more like riding a normal bike. Like when you get on the Lectric, you're gonna want to pedal constantly. It feels good. It definitely ghost pedals, you know, when you're getting into pedal assist 3 and 4 and 5, you know, you're gonna be ghost pedaling, but it's still, you just feel like you want to pedal. This bike, like what I was talking about, how you feel like since it's a 750 watt, you feel like when you're going mid-speed, you have more throttle available. This bike, you feel like you're gonna wanna throttle more, so because it has more pickup while you're already cruising in mid-speed, you know? If that makes sense. But on the Lectric, you're gonna feel like you want to pedal to be able to accelerate fast enough. And then top speeds. On this bike, if I'm doing a hill bomb, I can get up to, you know, 31 or 32. But on the Lectric, if I'm on the Lectric, if I have a fully charged battery and I'm going on flat ground, I can cruise at 29 or 30. Whereas this bike, it takes an intense downhill for me to get up past 30 miles an hour. We're gonna go behind this guy. So I don't know, I mean, I don't know what it is about that brand, Lectric. Like, I don't think their bikes are better quality than any other bike, really. I mean, they're mass produced, so, you know, there's a bunch of, I had a lot more problems with Lectric than I did this one. Like this one, I haven't really had any problems that weren't operator error. But like the Lectric, like I've talked about before, the display on the Lectric went out at, I think it was at 280 miles or 230 miles. And then the display also went out at 2,300 miles. The charger broke. So those are all the issues I had with the Lectric. on this bike, I haven't had any issues. I had to replace the crank, but that's because I let the pedal get loose and messed up the threads on the female threads on the crank itself. I know I talk about the brakes a lot. As far as functionality, the functionality of these brakes are just as good as they are on the Lectric. But the Lectric are hydraulic. Brake pads. Ooh, dang. What is that about? Anyway, so kind of lost my train of thought. So brake pads, the brake pads on both of these bikes are really bad. So if you buy either of these bikes, you'll want to buy a set of decent brake pads right away. And I don't know, let me think of, I'll try to see if I can think of anything else while I'm riding. Just comparing the Windhorse to the Lectric. If somebody had a brand new Windhorse and a brand new Lectric XP 3.0, which one would I take? That's a tough question, to be honest. I mean, I really like the 750 watts because it is torquey, like I said, in mid-speed. I'm not too sure which one I would take. A bad thing about the Lectric is their seats, which I think everybody knows about. If you buy a Lectric and you don't have mine came with a suspension seat post. I mean, I had a regular seat post when I bought it, but they shipped the bike out to me and then shipped me a suspension seat post like a couple months later or a month later, I can't remember. But if you buy Lectric and you don't have the suspension seat post and you're using their seat, you're screwed. I thought it was something that I was just gonna have to get used to, but it was painful. Their seats are bad. I'm not too sure why they never upgraded those. I guess they probably figure that most people are going to upgrade them anyway. Most people have like a brand of seat that they like to begin with, and maybe that's why, or maybe they bought, a million of them. Maybe they bought a million of these seats and just, decided to do that. So the seat on this bike wasn't very good quality. It actually fell apart. So I'm using the Lectric seat on this, but the reason why it's tolerable is because there's a small rear shock on this bike, which doesn't really help with the ride. I don't think it really makes the ride feel smoother, but it makes the seat smoother, I think that's the functionality. I think that's why I can tolerate this seat, this Lectric seat on this bike. I mean, essentially this bike is probably very similar to the So I have the XP step through. I think this bike is probably very similar to the regular XP. I mean, this bike and the XP are very, very similar. I guess I should just go on. Oh, here we are. What else? What else about these bikes? Okay, four inch tires versus 3-inch tires. So the Lectric has 3-inch tires, and this bike has 4-inch tires. So I was mentioning when I first started talking about this that the Lectric is definitely like a rougher ride, and I don't think it's because the front shocks on both bikes are exactly the same. I'm sure they're from the same manufacturer. And the Lectric is a hardtail, you know, it's not, it doesn't have a shock in the back. But I think having 4-inch tires on this bike make it a little softer of a ride. But you know, the Lectrics, the way you can kind of, you know, dart around on the Lectric is nice. Like, I have much more control on the Lectric than this bike. Like, you can tell if you watch my old videos when I'm on the Lectric, I can be pedaling. Like, when I'm pedaling, you can't tell. Like, I'm like straight as an arrow. Even when I had the off-road tires, the last set of tires I had were street tires, slick tires, but even prior to that, the Lectric felt way more stable. Like, this bike drifts around and moves around a lot. You really got to hold on to this bike, but on the Lectric, I felt like I could cruise at full speed with one hand, but on this bike, as soon as I take one hand off the handlebars, it's like, it's pretty dangerous. So the Lectric's much more stable, and I'm guessing that's because of the narrower tires, and then obviously when I had the street tires on, that helped a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, the chain, what I liked about the Lectric too is, you know, when the battery was a 10 amp hour battery on the Lectric, and this one's like a 13. So I get more range on this bike. And I can go faster for longer because of that. But the cool thing about the Lectric was, let's get this. Oh, yeah. The cool thing about the Lectric was when the battery was getting low, I kind of liked it because as the battery would get lower, I was able to pedal and not ghost pedal as easy. So it's nice to have that, a little bit of resistance when the battery's running low and you're trying to go fast. Like, if you're trying to maintain, you know, 25 to 28 miles an hour and the battery's low, on the Lectric I was able to pedal and put force in the pedals to maintain that speed. Now, if somebody was going to give me the Lectric XP 4.0 versus this one new, I would definitely take the 4.0. That one looks awesome. And I'm wanting to upgrade the type of bike I ride. Now I think my wife will be on board because she sees how much I love doing this. And when I told her, she was asking me how much money I want to spend on one, and I was telling her a couple thousand, and she's like, "That's all?" And then I was like, well, I started thinking about it, and like, I don't think I want to pay more than that. There's probably other bikes I could get, like if I said 3,000, like, what bike's going to be in the $3,000 range, and why? Why? I'm not too sure. I think I don't know. I think spending more than $2,000 would make me a little nervous. And I've come this far on a oh my God, there's a lot of cars coming. On 2 budget bikes, so I've spent $2,000 on bikes already. And had I gotten like a wired cruiser or a wired freedom or an e-cells for $2,000, I probably would have never had to get a second bike. But beyond 2,000, like, what are you gonna get? I mean, what else do you need? Like, I want to be able to pedal at high speeds, which the wired cruiser does that. I want to be able to go fast. The cruiser does that. I want good suspension. The cruiser does that. If I had a $3,000 budget, I would just get a $2,000 bike and then maybe get accessories, Or if you want to spend more money, I think spending more money on a bike is going to, that makes sense, is just having more range, like having 2 batteries. I don't have any desire to get a dual motor bike. I think that just sounds like a headache to me. That just makes it, I don't know, even more complicated and less. I don't see any benefits to that. But having more range, so getting a bike with 2 batteries, I'd spend a little extra money on that. And the price on the cruisers are probably going to go up anyway, so it probably will be more than $2,000, But I'd rather get accessories, spend $2,000. So if I had a $3,000 budget, I could get the bike, get some bags. I definitely need the bags. I need to get a full face helmet if I'm going to be going 40 miles an hour. And maybe some more, protective gear. Maybe get some gloves. And what other kind of accessories would I want? I guess that's it. I just want bags. I think what would be really cool is to have a bike with like everything you need for camping, and to be able to go on these long trips and camp. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, all right, 43 minutes. Thanks for watching my video, and we'll catch you on the next one.